Hi everyone, it's Teresa Green with Slow Path Wellness. It's Mindful Monday. So today I want to do a mindfulness exercise that involves embodiment, which is the idea of seeing how things affect us, noticing how they affect us in our body. So we're going to go with a couple of ideas of beliefs, our statements, and see how we feel with them. But instead of calling the feeling anxiety or sadness or anger, we're going to just see with how it feels in our body. Does something feel tight or relaxed or hot or cold? Or does it move from one place to another? Or does something feel numb or tingly? And we're not going to kind of step away with, not necessarily that you don't want to name it. There's been other times I've talked about naming feelings and emotions. But today we're just going to go with the actual physical response to something. Now I want to give credit here. I'm currently doing a class with an acupuncturist and coach, business coach, called Julie Bear Don't Walk. And she's done something similar in a lot of the things that where we've been talking. And so I wanted to bring this to Mindful Monday. And it's not exactly the same as what she does, but it's kind of in the same idea. It's taking a statement, a lot of times a statement that people have beliefs or emotions are kind of triggering about, whether in the good or the bad. And then it's seeing how you feel that in your body, and then giving your body a chance to shift it and try something a little bit different. So what we're going to do, I'm going to just take a statement that is a happy statement, and we're going to see how it feels inside and see how your body feels towards it. So go ahead and get yourself comfortable, whether you're sitting or standing or lying down, whatever is, however you're situating yourself. Get comfortable there. Let yourself feel yourself resting, whether that's with your feet on the floor or your arms on the armrest and your legs in a chair, or whether that's laying on a bed and feeling your weight sitting into the mattress. And just sit for a moment and notice how it feels to be able to be at rest. We're going to do, say 3 breaths like that. All right, now, as you have your breathing, keep your breathing nice and natural but deep. Picture it going from your nose all the way down past your belly button, and then you can either go back up again, maybe even better to just let it sort of feel like it just sort of goes down there and just sort of fades away. And you take in your next breath, and it goes from your nose down below your abdomen and just sort of fades out. Now what that does, that brings the energy down there and it lets it stay down there so you're somewhat grounded. There's other ways you can do that as well, and if it feels better to do this the second way I'm going to talk about, you can do that as well. You can breathe in and picture yourself breathing in nourishment, and then when you breathe out, you can feel yourself breathing out tension or negativity or whatever waste products you feel like you need to breathe out, whichever works better for you. Breathe in good and out anything you want to get rid of, or breathe in, bring it down, bring the energy down, and then let the energy sort of diffuse out into your lower abdomen to bring energy there. Whichever one of those feels like the better thing. So we'll try both of those really quickly before we get to our meditation part, our mindfulness part. So a different kind of mindfulness right now. So go ahead and breathe in. Bring it down, 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 down below your abdomen. And then this time I'll let it diffuse out. So picture it like maybe a light that kind of spreads out to your lower abdomen. I'll do that one more time. So breathe in and out. And as you're breathing out, just feel that light diffusing. So see how that feels. Now I'll try the second one. Breathe in. Again, breathe down, 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 down below your belly button. When you breathe out, just picture any tension or negativity coming out. So in, good, 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 and then negative, out. So in, good, down, 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 and then out. Anything bad. So pick which one of those you want, and we'll do 3 breaths like that. And I'm going to do the one diffusing into my abdomen because that felt really good to me. All right, now you have yourself sort of calm, and your breath has sort of gone in and out, and there's been some exchange of energy with the world around you. Let's pick a statement. So I'm going to provide one for this particular moment, this particular video, but you can pick something else. So for future practice. So what I'm going to pick is the idea of I have plenty, because a lot of times when we feel like we're not enough, or we're poor, or we're lacking in some way, or we're lacking, a relationship, or money, or food, or opportunities, or whatever it is that we're lacking, there may be some true lack there. I'm not in any way saying we're going to, change the world in places where there's injustice. We're just going to disappear by saying I have plenty. But in reality, even if there's challenges in your life, you do still have plenty. And as you have plenty, you can also go to I am enough. I have plenty and I am enough. And that can address a lot of anxieties and a lot of just over worry about things that may be true or may have some truth to them, but aren't the entire reality that you have. So even if you're in a situation where there are negatives, or where there's problems, or where you deal with a lot of difficulties, from whether that's from inside health conditions or outside situations, to be able to hold inside of you that you do have plenty and that you are enough will help you to address those situations better. So not in any way denying something that may be a problem, but saying that if you're coming to it feeling like you have power and you have resources, then you're going to be able to handle it better. So let's sit again and feel relaxed, and just see how that statement feels to you. I have plenty. What do you feel when you hear that? I'll tell you what I feel is I feel a little bit of tension in my upper body. There's evidently something a little bit resistant to that feeling. So I'm going to sit with this. We're going to say it again. I have plenty. And I feel that tension. And whatever you feel when you have it, whether it's a fantastic feeling or some tension or some kind of whether it's resistance or acceptance, just sit with that and see what it feels like as you give it a moment. So, I have plenty. I have plenty. I have plenty. So what I felt with that was, after that initial kind of tension and maybe anxiety feeling, a little bit of, I said we weren't going to talk about the actual emotion, so that sort of tense feeling and maybe like a catch kind of thing in my upper body, I felt a change. After about the third or fourth time I said it, I started feeling a difference. Instead of feeling like kind of like a catch, it's almost like that energy spread down my spine and then out to my extremities. And so I felt kind of maybe a giddiness or an energy or a little bit of a vibration is not the best word, but it's the best one I can come up with right now. It was like a form of excitement, really. So my body kind of felt, yeah, I could do something with that. That's a good feeling to have. But it wasn't a settled feeling. It wasn't a peaceful feeling, which is usually what I feel when something really resonates with me. But it was an interesting energy increase, which I think is a really good thing. I felt energized. So I'm going to try again. I'm going to continue to sit with that and see where that goes. And I invite you to do the same. So wherever you started off with, the first feeling, when we said I have plenty, what that extended to, and then we're going to go from that to see if it changes anymore. Because sometimes it will. Sometimes it'll stay the same and just kind of increase or dissipate, or just stay exactly the same the whole time. But other times it'll shift a little, and sometimes those shifts can be really interesting and really feel good. So we'll sit again, and I'm just going to kind of do it for several seconds to kind of take us through all 3 stages. And we're not going to try to force a stage. You're just going to see what your body does, because it might not even shift from whatever you initially felt. It may just continue with that. And even if it's not something that goes from maybe a discomfort to something better, that's okay, because getting in touch with how your body's feeling about it will give you information, and you can use that. So let's sit again and go with I have plenty. 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 All right, so for me, this has been a really neat one, because as I said that, like I said, first it was a little bit of a tension, a little bit of a constricted kind of feeling. Then it was if that constricted feeling kind of went all over, and I didn't realize it at the time, but kind of more on the surface of things, or really shallow. Like I felt like if I were trying to touch it, it'd be like maybe right under my skin kind of feeling, kind of a tingling, kind of energizing kind of feeling. Well, as I kept saying it, it kind of felt like that tingly, energizing feeling went deeper, to the point that I kind of pictured it as if it were going into my bone marrow. And that was a really cool feeling. And I felt it mostly, oddly enough, in my forearm and like my lower leg. And I'm not sure what the significance of that might be, but that's what I felt, and that was really cool. So one of the next things I want you to do is, keep that information as something to hang on to. And if you felt the energy stop in a certain place, just go to that place where you felt it kind of stop. And if you didn't, we can do what I'm going to do, and the last place you kind of felt the energy, or where you felt the energy. So I'm going to kind of go and just kind of see what my bone marrow feels like, kind of sitting there and just sit with that for a minute. So we're going to sit with that for just a couple of breaths, just maybe more than a couple, maybe 4 or 5 breaths. And so we're going to sit with that and continue. We're going to, for a moment, we're just going to step aside from the I have plenty and just see what's going on in that area where you feel anything, whether it's good or bad. Well, good or bad may not be the best words, whether it's a tightness or a comfort, a discomfort or a comfort, and see where it goes. So go to that place where you were feeling things and just see what you feel. So, as I said, what I had felt before when I was doing the I have plenty, the last I have plenty, it felt like it went kind of really into my bone marrow, into my bones. And I felt that again, and it kind of settled in. So it wasn't quite as energized of a feeling, but it was more just like I think we call it a distending feeling when you're needling, where you kind of feel like things are expanding a little bit inside, but it felt really good. Sometimes the distending feeling can feel odd to the point of being slightly uncomfortable, but this one just felt really good. It kind of felt just like there was a really intense awareness of that area. So see what you feel, because there's no right or wrong, there's no good or bad. I said good and bad, and that wasn't really the right words to use. There's no right or wrong, no good or bad. It's just what you're feeling at that moment. And as you feel that, your body can change and can go along, can shift, and as those shifts happen, some of your almost instinctual reactions to beliefs or statements can change too. So if I have plenty starts out with resistance, as you sit with it, you may find that kind of opens up. And as it opens up, you start saying, wow, I can see places where I have plenty. And if it doesn't, and you like the idea of feeling like you have plenty, then you can cultivate that feeling. So notice the things that you have plenty of. Notice if you're breathing really well. I have plenty of air. If it's raining outside, I have plenty of water. If you are able to have, if you have more than you need to eat, I have plenty of food. If you, like me, if you're for a while, because I've had cancer, I had chemo, I didn't have hair, so right now I notice I have plenty of hair. And it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to remind yourself that even if everything might not be perfect in your life, even if there are things you're struggling with, even if there are things you wish you had, And, everybody has that to different degrees. There are some things that you have plenty of. And, I have plenty of skin. in whatever it is that is as basic as you may have to get, especially if you're having a hard time or really dealing with discouragement. But telling yourself that's not just to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and, think positive and you won't have problems. It's not something like that. What it's doing, it's talking to your nervous system, because your nervous system's job is to keep you safe. And so because it's there to keep you safe, you tend to be more likely to notice risks and to notice negatives than to notice positives and to notice things that are safe, because your nervous system's trying to keep you away from danger. The problem is when it does that all the time, and if you've listened to anything about stress, you know that our stress response is made for fight or flight situations where we're in an emergency. We have to run away from danger, or we have to fight something that's bad, or we need this, we need adrenaline pumping through our system, and we need all the systems that kick in to help us deal with immediate wounds that might happen. And most of our stresses aren't that. Most of our stresses aren't fight or flight situations. A lot of them are, communication situations, or dealing with reactions that we're having from things in our past that might have at least seemed more like fight or flight situations because we were children with little nervous systems that weren't developed as well as they needed to be, because developmentally it just wasn't time for them to have the kind of reasoning ability that you have as an adult. And so that fight or flight system gets kicked in when it isn't needed. So telling your nervous system things like, I have plenty, I am safe, I'm enough, I have friendships, I can I can control changes in my life, or I can do things to make my life better. It helps your nervous system to not go into any form of fight or flight as easily. So that's why we're doing that. And then you're seeing how your system feels about it, because that gets it at a deeper level. It allows your body to kind of really soak in that feeling, which makes it easier to access it when you need it. So when something happens, when you get an unexpected credit card charge and you're, oh no, somebody took my money, you may find out that it was just an error where you signed up for something you forgot you signed up for a trial or something, and then it comes up. But you've already wasted all that nervous system energy. Whereas if you've been focusing on something like, I have plenty, I have plenty, I have plenty, then when something like that happens, your nervous system is more likely to, instead of freaking out over it right away, it's more likely to say, okay, I have to address this, but I have plenty. I will be okay. And that way you don't end up having a meltdown over something because even if it's a genuine emergency, a meltdown isn't going to help you any. And if it's not a genuine emergency, then your body's gone through the thought that it was a genuine emergency and wasted energy and made all these chemicals that hurt your immune system, and now studies suggest make you more likely to get cancer or diabetes or Alzheimer's or any number of illnesses, because those chemicals affect everything in your body. They affect your digestion, they affect your immune system, they affect your reproductive hormones, it's all kinds of things. Once your nervous system thinks there's a danger, it really leaves no stone unturned in your body, and it can cause a lot of problems. So doing things to help your nervous system get upset less often is a really huge health thing. It's become, among people who are reading about it and learning about it, and people who are in different forms of natural healing ideas, it's become one of the primary things to address for any health issue somebody has. And so today's Mindful Monday is one small way of dealing with it. Now, if you found this really, really interesting, some of my other videos have similar ideas in them. And if you want to look at what someone else is doing, Dr. Rick Hansen, who is a psychologist, he has a lot of videos and a lot of meditations that have similar things to what I'm doing. He calls some of them savoring, where you find something that's positive, whether it's something you notice from the outside or something you cultivate within by having, like he does a meditation where he talks about imagining yourself being on someone else's side and being a real ally to someone, and after you've kind of really cultivated that feeling, to then imagine yourself being your own ally and being on your own side. And I think we may have done a video like that. If not, we're going to do one soon. But he has them on his site. if you look up Rick Hansen free meditation, you can find that information for him, and I'll try to remember to put a link for it down in the video as well. So have a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope you are able to cultivate the feeling of having plenty, and you can try out, if having plenty doesn't really seem like it resonates with you, try I am safe, I have enough, I am enough, I am talented, anything like that that's an affirmation, and then address the affirmation, see how your body feels with it, and then do that a little longer. Give your body time to really kind of sink into its response to that affirmation, and then try to notice things that back up the affirmation, so that your nervous system is able to sort of hold on to it as something that it can turn to in times of stress, so that it's less likely to become very reactive and cause the chemicals of stress that can be very bad for your health. So have a lovely week again, and this is Teresa signing out on Mindful Monday.